Hello and welcome to At Chat State. My name is Christian Bierstow and today we're here to talk about race. Now last week, Chattanooga State students had the opportunity to participate in an event known as the Human Race Machine. Now we've got a board of members here and let's go ahead and go through your names real quick so we can get that.
Carlos Drake, Justin Booker,
Dorothy Choke,
Mary Nath.
All right, now I've got a few questions, so any of you just feel free to answer it whenever you want. And the first one is, what do you think the Human Race Machine was here, and why? Why do you think you brought the Human Race Machine here?
Well, the Human Race Machine, first of all, is a machine that allows one to sit in it and see themselves as different races and with different deformities and illnesses. It was brought here as a part of our International Week in the spring from our Multicultural Services Department.
All right, and what do you think students are going to take away from this experience?
well, we were hoping that it would start a conversation about gender and race and all those things that we never get a chance to talk about or that we're scared to talk about, and just kind of start those conversations with our students.
All right, and based on what you saw reaction-wise to when the students participated, do you think there was anything that maybe they would have changed or you could have seen gone better or worse, or?
Well, it was a pretty busy week. There was a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things. We did have a big international festival that Mary put on as well. So I'm sure there was always stuff that we could change, and we always look to our students for those answers. So hopefully they can give us some great feedback.
All right, well, let's go ahead and head to the students out in the audience. Now, it's my understanding that you actually participated in the Human Race Machine. What exactly were your thoughts on it when you saw yourself in a different race?
Well, I wasn't too pleased with the results. I didn't think that I looked like someone from that race actually did. And I felt like most of the students who were doing it weren't going to have a conversation about race, but were like, oh sweet, this is what I look like when I'm black. And it was more of just like exciting to see yourself as a different race.
Even though you think it's just the excitement, do you think maybe it still got some people stirring up and maybe some conversation started?
It started this, so I'm sure it has.
All right, very, very true. And now let's go over here. All right, let's say that if you participated in the race machine and you saw yourself as a white man, do you think maybe if you would have stuck as a white man, do you think that would change how your life is being lived today?
It would definitely change the way that my life is being lived today. I actually didn't participate in the race machine because I didn't quite understand the point of it. Because I don't know, it's like seeing myself as a white man. I don't know what that would make me. I don't know what the point was. But as far as that, I am a black man. I live as a black man, and I'm the profession I've chosen for myself being an actor and entertainer. Being black is a definite advantage for that. So for my career rise, being a white man would kind of suck. So yeah, I got the whole niche thing and Tyler Perry right up the street. So yeah, but yeah, so it would definitely, like, being white and being black, there's definitely differences that change your life just from the color of your skin, and that's because of things set back for hundreds of years and situations that have been that the country has gone through, and eventually I think it'll fade away, but not yet.
All right, well, according to genetics, it's actually the genes that involve the race actually have no similarity or no other involvement in eye color or musical talent or anything like that. Does that stump you right now that it's maybe has no effect? But do you agree with that, or do you think there's definitely differences?
There is no genetic, I think. What's other people's perceptions. There's no genetics and like gene that makes you good at music or makes you particularly talented at one thing or another because of your race. But there are certain genetic differences between you and I. If we were to die right now and our bodies were to rot from all the until skeletons, they could pick up my skull and your skull and tell from my skull that I'm black. And if that doesn't run deep, then I don't know. But as far as the music and everything goes, that's a cultural thing, and it just happened to be that these group of people of the same color live in the same place, and then they develop these certain things. But yeah, it has nothing to do with the genes necessarily. I mean, look at Christina Aguilera.
Very well put. Thank you very much. And I know you maybe had a little bit of difficulty understanding the Human Race Machine and had a few problems. What do you think you could have changed or would have changed in order to have you go up and participate in the human race machine?
I would have just had more variation on the different races that you could see yourself as, because there are very big differences between Hispanics and Latinos. And there are very big differences between Asians and Middle Easterners and Europeans and so on and so forth. And the fact that they didn't have any Middle Eastern option on there was a little bit insulting for me. But just the lack of like variation. They only chose the biggest minorities, the most popularized by the media minorities to show.
Okay, so we know that if maybe they created a wider variety of races on the race machine, that maybe you would come. Do you think that would also maybe create a larger crowd as well? Do you think more people agree with you as well and would come if they had a wider variety?
Well, one of the things that keeps being mentioned is, will this start a conversation? And right now, with the amount of racism against Muslims and all of that, you have to realize that once you see yourself as, you know, a possibly Muslim woman or a possibly Muslim man, and you identify that skin tone with that, you know, that religion, you start like being able to connect more, and you stop seeing Muslims as, you know, like completely different. You don't think of them as, you know, you don't alienate them quite as much.
Thank you very much. Very true. Thank you. All right, we're going to head up back here to our guest real quick. All right, now based on what you just heard from students, obviously it worked. A conversation was started, conversation was stirred. Do you think you're satisfied, or do you think you're going to make some more changes if we do it again, maybe next year or next semester or something? Are there changes you'd like to make?
I really do think that there are changes. As I said earlier, I think probably one of the things as we did this and as I reflect back on the week is there probably should have been a gathering like this at the beginning so that we could gather more data. But this is a great venue, and whether you think it started a conversation or it didn't start a conversation, I think someone mentioned it in the audience, we're here today. And so it did start something. And so I think we need to build upon that momentum.
All right, now it's true, I think, to me that you can't necessarily just say that color blindness is going to solve the problem. You can't just say if we ignore the race issue, that's going to go away. You have to accept it, face on, and deal with it. Do you have any comments agree with that?
You know, it was exciting to see the young people, our students, really line up to experience the race machine. I think splish splashing in the shallow water is simply looking at it from a color dimension, or even to that extent, the nationalities that were expressed, the opportunity to see ourselves at different levels. I think if you would have chose 10 in the world, you would still have left out people. But I think as I saw myself, I saw eyes, I saw nose, I saw mouth, and so to a large extent, I saw the commonality of the human race. But I think as we move into a deeper discussion of a race, then I think you start talking about cultures, how people are raised, to find the commonality and what hurts people, war, all of those things I think that weigh into the human race. So I think when we simply talk about it from a color perspective, then we can lose the opportunity to be educated in a broader sense.
Well said, well said.
I think also it wasn't just that we were looking at what we perceive as race. There were anomalies there, as if I had a disability. How am I going to look, 20 years from now? It allowed people to do the crossover if they were married. So it wasn't necessarily just about that one topic. It was about a litany of different things. But again, I think going back to what Carlos says, there probably needs to be a deeper conversation that starts with the students and what their opinions are.
I think do you think maybe if you created a survey or something based upon the race machine, that maybe you could, that would be easier and make better?
We did create a survey. Okay. We do have some data. It hasn't been compiled at this time, but we will look at that and we'll take note of what the students have said about it. Right. I think interestingly enough, though, to talk to them about a better profile with the machine might, it's something interesting and I think should be addressed.
I think you're very right. All right, well, that's it for this edition at Chat State. We obviously had a great turnout, great conversation started. Maybe I'd love to see it happen again, maybe next semester, next year, like I said. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for your participation as well, audience. All right, well, have a great day. This is here, Christian Bierstow at Chat State.